Good morning, Tom's River, Ocean County, New Jersey, and all of America. I'm Dr. Barbara Schneider, here live today, Saturday, September 17th, 2022, on Radio Free America, the radio station that is able to speak the truth. The FBI have not yet come for me. As always, I'm here today due to the generosity of Dr. Michael Katchmar, in whose studio we are broadcasting from, and the technical expertise of Jeremy sitting across from me.
Yay!
So,
Well, we got our Barbara babes already.
good morning,
flying
everybody.
Here. Yeah, good morning from Cape Coral, Florida.
Oh,
look at
wow.
Sean, yeah.
So, as always,
DeSantis land. Hey, Liz.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. So, as always, I want to start by plugging our local businesses, the backbone of the United States, and the people who've taken the greatest hit because of the $3 trillion transfer of wealth due to all the stuff that happened in the past 2 years. To begin, TSF disposal. If you need a dumpster, if you've got garbage, if you're remodeling your house in the hopes that the housing market will turn around, he's got a dumpster for you. Yep. You can order online. You can call him directly. The service is great. And the dumpsters are also very pretty. Lakeside Diner. I have not heard what's going on with Brian. He stood up to King Philip in New Jersey. He fought for the right to stay in business. He's got a GoFundMe page up. So if you want to see what's going on, go to that page.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So what's Rumble and
Yeah.
YouTube?
So just so everybody knows, that what we were having Rumble issues. For some reason, it's not streaming live, but it is recording our shows, and we are logging them in there. As far as YouTube goes, we've already got viewers on YouTube, so you might have to refresh, Liz, because we got 3 people watching at least right now. So,
okay, continuing with local businesses, C&G Country Cafe, 2 locations, and Tom's River Heating and Air Conditioning. That's the Petty family. Please patronize them.
yeah.
For your beauty needs, Frank and Maria's, Allure Salon, and Harmony Salon. Okay? Don't say gray. Beauty is worth it. Even if you just want to pamper yourself, these places are great. Let's go, Brandon, for your political needs.
Yeah.
That are on Route 37. Ken's Hardware on Fisher Boulevard. You don't need to go to the big chain stores. Ken's either has it or they'll get it for you. The brewery and the distillery in downtown Tom's River for your alcoholic needs.
Hi, Patricia.
Okay, so Brooklyn Bistro, great neighborhood restaurant. Red Rose Bakery, bread and pastries, they're great. The Tiny Greenhouse for houseplants. Again, you don't need to go to a big chain hardware store to get plants. And Attilas Gym, it's a little west of here, to work out. Okay, Ian Smith did not win his political bid, but he's still out there commenting.
Now, folks, everybody, we are also a podcast, so you can catch our show, after we've broadcast on Spotify, iTunes, well, you name it, anywhere podcasts are found. You won't get the video. Okay, the video is only for Facebook and YouTube, and afterwards Rumble. So bear that in mind. And
we have a call-in number.
Yeah, we do have a call-in number now. It's going up on the screen. It's 732-237-4949. And as a special request from myself, please, guys, subscribe and turn on that bell notification. Share this also with your family and friends. We need to start building up our numbers. Seasonally, they drop and they go back up again. But, we know our Barber babes are there and with us. And a lot of you who don't even speak in the chat, We know you're there listening. So please share our program so other people can find out about us, because really, our babes have got the power to do that, you know?
So it's impossible to discuss anything without first talking. Oh, wow. Without talking about corruption in the Oval Office. This is an unprecedented display of treason.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yeah.
It is. It's almost hard to comment on. President Diaper is being paid to destroy America. And there are many aspects to this, but the degree of success he's had since assuming office is astonishing. In his 50 years as a corrupt politician, he was never this successful. He is being helped. So let's talk about Big Pharma. Pfizer is anticipating a $32 billion profit this year, and Moderna is going to have a $21 billion profit. This is due to mandates and censorship by social media. You cooperate or you are regulated. Now, I did get a notification. I couldn't find it on the news, but I did get an email. No, this is a text. That the appeals court yesterday rejected big tech's right to regulate speech. Okay? So, of course, that's going to be appealed, but big tech, social media is successful because they are pandering to the current administration. And that's why they are not being regulated. And that's why they can do anything they want to us, even though it is a suppression of our First Amendment rights. What else is President Diaper doing? He is using federal agencies, specifically the FBI, to suppress the American people. How are they doing that? They're spying on parents who object to what's being taught in public schools. As you know, you may recall from my talk last week that the federal government took over a large part of this public school education, and which is wrong.
Yeah, you know, that stuff has been happening. I mean, Dr. Barbara went and spoke before the school boards, local school boards, where we were casted down as domestic terrorists. Remember that? You know, they're taking control of our kids, and I don't want to get too into this because it's a little bit off topic. But you know, as a dad, you know how I get with kids. Um, I just watched the Tucker Carlson Originals documentary called "Transgressive: The Cult of Confusion."
Yeah, I have a little bit more about that too.
Are we going to talk about that later?
In about a minute and a half.
In a minute, I'll wait for you, and then I can jump in. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what are parents objecting to? Children are not being taught reading, writing, and arithmetic. We are last in all the industrialized nations for our children's education. And this is a plan by the government to make America weak. Because if America is not a global power, the world suffers. So it is world domination and payment to President Diaper to help bring America down.
No, Dr. Barb, you're starting to sound like an extremist.
Well, if I say God bless America, I'm an extremist.
You're an extremist.
Yeah. So what is being taught? So critical race theory is one of the things being taught in school, that little kids are born racist, that everything they think is wrong. That is not the job of the school. These kids can't add 2 and 2. They can't read. All the good books are being removed from schools and replaced with sexual content.
Right.
Parents who object to this are being targeted by the FBI and subpoenaed, arrested, and persecuted. For critical race theory, Attorney General Merrick Garland's son-in-law owns the company that is pushing critical race theory. Now, this is a conflict of interest because the orders to go after parents came from Garland's office, Attorney General Garland's office. So in doing this, he is trying to crush American parents so his son-in-law can make more money.
Jesus.
Then we have the transgenderism joy of life, which is pushing children to get sterilized and take drugs for the rest of their lives. Okay, so they're supposed to get this sterilization surgery, removal of breasts, removal of other appendages, and take lifelong medications. And children who are 5 and 6 and 7 are very vulnerable to propaganda. And that's what this is. The incidence of transgenderism was a minuscule part of a percent. There was one hospital in the entire nation that dealt with these issues. Now it's an explosion. They're trying to convince children to do this instead of learning how to read, write, and do arithmetic. So children are now who've gone through it and realized they were duped. And some of this is irreversible. And they're realizing their lives were ruined by traitors.
Yeah. Traders that are like close too. Like I've been like I said, the Tucker Carlson originals.
Yeah, I want to hear what that was.
It's called transgressiveness or transgressions, the cult of confusion.
Right.
Okay.
There you go.
Now this was a 2-part documentary. They're only about like half an hour each part. And I got to tell you folks, it was fortunate that they were 2 parts, because you get through that first part, by the end you can't even stand looking at what they're showing you anymore. Your heart bleeds for these poor children that are being so disillusioned. I mean, they've got family members now that are convincing 2, 3-year-old, 4-year-old children that they're not boys, they're actually girls. And these kids are now dressed up in dresses. They're giving their kids puberty blockers at a very, very young age, and then you go on to find out just like the bad things that puberty blockers do for you. You know, your genitals shrink to almost nothing because they don't develop. Your the bone structure in your legs and all of that changes. So then they're brittle as anything, you know. But these 14-year-old girls, 13-year-old girls are being convinced that how they feel right now, right? And everybody goes through a certain type of gender dysphasia, okay? If that's the word I'm thinking of, where they're confused a little bit, maybe. You know, sometimes people go through that. I mean, for me, it was like, what am I? And in this split second, I knew,
You know,
right? But
I don't think that happened when I was young.
really,
I can't recall ever thinking I was a boy or a cat or a horse.
right?
I don't.
But see, the point of puberty is you go through puberty, and then it straightens you out. You know who you are.
Well, that's why the 50s and the 60s were so great.
Yeah.
America was great. We pledged allegiance to the flag. There wasn't all this nonsense.
But see, there's a lot of like programs, and now we have to acknowledge that television sets are babysitters. Okay, so they put these kids in front of Disney princesses and princess this or queen that, and they watch this stuff. So of course, they're gonna put like a rag over their head on top of their head and pretend it's long hair coming down, and the mothers and parents, I mean these brain dead mothers and parents are seeing this, and then the mothers, there was this one story on the documentary, right? This father was talking, and he had a boy with his wife, and they she was he was the little boy was about 2 to 3 years old, and the wife one day, just out of the freaking blue, all right, says to the husband, yeah, Junior is identifies as a girl, and you know that, and he was blinking at her like, what are you talking about? So then she started dressing him up like a girl, the boy, the little boy. And then she would ask him constantly, are you a boy or a girl? Until he learned otherwise. Then she divorces the husband, and now he can't even see his kid, who is now believes to be a girl instead of a boy.
Well,
I mean, this is child abuse that's going on through neighborhoods and stuff.
but now the whole thing about in the last administration with charter schools,
Yeah.
the public schools have been corrupted. A lot of parents know this, but they don't have alternative routes. By having charter schools and the money that was spent on that child being given to the parent to go to a different school, we had options and we had choices. And the idea of choice in everything is being taken away from us.
Yeah.
And that's an essential freedom. It's not just happening in politics, it's happening in medicine too.
See,
And
I think it's a little of both. I think it's what you're saying, right? But I also think there are too many choices. There are far too many choices. I saw footage on this documentary where they had parents and little children, little children. The little girls with their pretty dresses. They go to church with they go to church in and stuff, and you never see them in the same dress twice.
right,
Well, here they all are in this auditorium where tables are all set up or whatever, more like a school lunchroom, and they had this transgendered, cross-dressing, grown-ass man, dressed
well,
up with the flamboyant makeup,
that's
completely naked
it's
on the
abs-
table. The parents are laughing and smiling, showing their children the man's new
every,
genitals.
every parent there needs to lose custody of the child.
Yes. Yeah.
There have to see, that's the other problem here. There are no consequences.
Right.
And I'm going to get
No,
to that.
no, this next part, and I'll be done. Okay. This one, I want to hear your thoughts on, because you're a breast cancer surgeon, and you deal primarily in a large way with breasts. So now they've got these 13, 14-year-old girls convinced that they'd live better as a man or a boy, and they're getting their breasts cut off.
Right. That's part of
And
this,
I saw the scars. I mean, scars like this, red, they're not going to heal up, these things.
No, the other thing,
right across their chests.
the other thing is, who's doing this?
Yes. What doctor is thinking this is okay?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Because these doctors should be, strung up against the wall, because they're enabling this kind of behavior.
Absolutely. But when I say choices have been taken away, that's what's happened in medicine. That's why private practice is being destroyed,
Yeah.
because you have no control over what those doctors say and the choices they give their patients. So that's why in the pandemic, the employed physicians were pushing the medication that was useless. but it enriched Big Pharma, and Big Pharma is behind, they have billions of dollars. I can't even conceive of what you can do with $1 billion,
Yeah.
but you can sure buy a lot of politicians and lobbyists and everything like that.
They had one girl even saying, yeah, we live in a great world now. You can actually have any body part you don't want removed, and here Liz just wrote, if you can get it, the
Right.
documentary Matt Walsh. Yeah, but Matt Walsh's documentary, What Is a Woman, was great, Liz, but it didn't show you as ugly as it is. If you guys have the opportunity to watch that Tucker Carlson thing, it's a hard watch, but I feel like we all need to see it.
And one more thing about schools and babysitting. A lot of parents had their children receive the medication that was developed so they could go to school, so the parents could work or do what they had to do. They didn't think about it. And that too is abuse. So,
I mean, I get what some parents like to dress up their little children like China dolls or something like that. I volunteered a lot with developmentally challenged kids and adults, and I saw their parents treating them like paper dolls and stuff. When you're a child in your mind forever, the parent wants to keep you as that child in their mind or something like that. I noticed it a lot with some parents, and I think it's just an extension of that. But these children are at such a young age. It might be a postpartum thing too. Like, who knows? They want to keep them that way, or they want to redesign them the way they felt they should have been to start with as a girl or as a boy and stuff. And it is criminal. It's child abuse. Giving your we used to be so wonderful, weren't we? Like, we used to have messages on the TV. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
Yeah.
We used to have things like this put into place. Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and
now in this neighborhood we have, did you leave your child in the back seat?
See, yeah.
But
Is your baby in a dumpster? That kind of thing.
Well, not in TSF dumpsters. They stick
No.
to the law.
What a segue. Come on, guys. Hang on a second.
Okay, so I want to move on because there's so much going on.
Right.
The border. The border is open for invasion. Ask any illegal alien and they will say, of course it's open. We can walk right in. So, and who is this affecting? This is affecting ordinary citizens, working class, low and middle income people whose resources are being taxed because they're the ones footing the bills for housing, schooling, and medical care for these illegal aliens. And it is currently illegal to deny services to illegal aliens. I mean, I know this makes no sense. So, for example, if an illegal alien goes to the hospital with acute appendicitis, they cannot be turned away. And what happens is the doctor on call has to care for that patient. They don't get paid, and it's usually 3:00 in the morning. You have to get up and do an appendectomy. But the hospital is paid by the state. Now, years and years ago in New Jersey, when doctors were being paid properly for their services, doctors took care of all charity care because they felt that they were being compensated for their services. And in exchange, as a service to the community, they took care of charity care. Well, that changed when the insurance companies decided that doctors were being paid too much for their services. And so they were getting shafted for fees for ordinary patients, and then they were expected to provide indigent care. When they refused to do this, the hospitals agreed to pay them a piddling amount for their services, and then also then hired doctors who would provide this emergency care. It's not working. There have been at least 3 million illegal aliens who came over the border since President Diaper took over.
Right.
And these illegals were ferried either by plane, bus, or train by President Diaper and dumped, usually in red states, without notice, without any indication that this was going to happen.
And the states themselves had no say in this whatsoever.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And the states were being overwhelmed
Right.
with this situation.
Without foreknowledge to set up facilities or to just say, hey, no, that's your problem. You created, send them back.
But I do have to say that this expectation of service for nothing will be the key to rounding them up in the next administration.
Yeah.
So they present themselves for housing, cell phone, surgery, or anything else. Fine. DHS will be called. They'll be rounded up and dropped on the other side of the wall that will be completed. Okay. So this unchecked invasion is to destroy the integrity of America. You cannot have a country without borders. No one else has this going on. So and the Biden administration is turning an absolute deaf ear to this. You have Corinne what's her name? Jean LaPierre.
Corinne Jean-Pierre.
That's it. God, what a stupid name for a stupid lying woman.
Lying woman. Yes. Lying. Oh my
yes.
God.
Hey, I can tell she's a woman. I went to medical school.
She can't keep two thoughts in her head. She's looking down on a piece of paper constantly, thinking the answers are there. She knows full well they're not.
And Kamala Harris saying our border is secure.
That laughing hyena.
Let me talk about that. So Governors Abbott of Texas and DeSantis of Florida came up with a brilliant idea.
Yes.
They are busing they have no capacity to take care of hundreds of thousands of illegals.
Yeah.
So they are busing these migrants to sanctuary states. And now the sanctuary states are saying, well, we don't want them.
Mm-hmm.
NIMBY, not in my backyard.
That's what I said last night. We were talking about this on Mike's show. And I said, we used to have a phrase in this country, not in my backyard. Now it's the Obamas that are saying that.
So, yes. So Governor DeSantis flew 50 illegals to Martha's Vineyard. They have a population of 17,000 and they have signs all over the place that illegal immigrants are welcome. Well, NIMBY. So what happened with these 50 migrants? The National Guard was called out. The National Guard of Massachusetts was called out to round up these 50 migrants and take them to base Cape Cod, okay, for imprisonment. So out of Martha's Vineyard has a population of 17,000. They couldn't take care of 50 migrants. Yeah. But in Texas, there's a town with 34,000 people who were not able to take care of 40,000 migrants, but that's okay.
Yeah. One rule for the rulers, one rule for the ruled.
So the whole idea with Biden busing and transporting and flying these illegals all over the country is to turn every state in the union into a border state.
Yeah.
This open border policy was actually started by Soros about 6-7 years ago when he donated $18 billion of his fortune to the creation of committees and programs that would facilitate illegal immigration. So we have Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, who actually met with Soros a couple of weeks ago to ensure that the border stays open. He needs to be impeached. And who is Mayorkas? Mayorkas was a Bill Clinton United States attorney who was fired for getting a drug czar pardoned and released. What else is happening with this massive illegal immigration? Crime is off the charts. Retail sales, so small business, local business, is being absolutely killed by shoplifting and out and out crime. You know, in San Francisco, Union Square, which was the really fancy part of town, those stores have closed.
Yeah, rogue politicians. Yeah.
Those stores have closed because people come in, rip off the stores, and walk out. There's no relief from crime because of Soros-appointed district attorneys or Soros-funded district attorneys who will not enforce the law. But the January 6th people are still in jail without a court date, in solitary confinement.
Oh, I got to tell you something. Those people are going to be in solitary confinement until the once and future president gets back in and pardons them.
And
That's it. That's how it's going to happen.
And every judge who did not hear their case has to be impeached.
Yes, especially the ones who are not sure if they're a woman or not.
So the crime in big cities, in small cities, has gone off the charts.
Yeah.
So what else has the FBI done as the
I will say, though, before you go on, I will say that what they did by sending them to Martha's Vineyard,
brilliant.
I say keep doing it. Let's make Martha's Vineyard the new Ellis Island. That's what we should do.
Corinne
Jean-Pierre.
Right. She says this is using them as human fodder or something like that. Well, what is the whole border experience?
Yeah,
you have women being raped. You have children being sold into slavery, and you have a humanitarian crisis, which this administration refuses to address.
I used the example yesterday. It used to be when people were being smuggled across the border, right? They'd give some guy in a dirty pickup truck that was had a cloak over the back of it, a sweaty wad of money, and they would carry them across the border. But now once they get across the border, it's like our government is now the dirty pickup truck that's carrying them even further.
It's like they're just simply walking across. They're overwhelming anyone in these border towns, and they just keep on going.
Yeah.
And the fact is, at some point, they're going to apply for free services, and that's the time to round them up. And every illegal alien has to be rounded up and kicked out. And every person whose visa has expired has to be kicked out.
Yes, ma'am, because you know what? But Dr. Barber's right, because eventually it's going to get to be the point where we taxpayers are going to be paying for all of their relief and, getting them constant baby formula, food, new phones, new this and that, getting them paid on food stamps and, Social Security they're going to get. I mean, this is what's happening. This is what is going on today. What's it? Yeah, the Dems are such hypocrites.
Yes. How?
Yeah,
yes.
raping women at the border, but infants too. Oh my God, 40 per day.
The fact is,
Jesus,
we have a lot of problems in this country, and charity begins at home.
Yes,
and these people have to be kicked out. I'm not heartless. I'm an American. We are a nation of laws, which you and I are subject to.
Yeah.
And
but those laws govern Americans. Okay.
They
And
don't govern the very rich, and they don't
right.
govern the
There are legal
illegals.
ways to get into this country. There always have been. Okay. That's why we have a big statue out there that's telling everybody to give me your poor and what have you. Um, and you're downtrodden and whatnot. There was a right way of coming in, and they just snipped that away. And now we're overrun by all of these people. And if you've seen overhead aerial shots of how they are, what they're doing, like the damage, the tent cities are propping up. Where and these are just temporary things, and the winter's coming fast. It's going to be excuse my friends, it's going to be a shit show in just no time at all.
Um, the consequences and the fruit of the poison tree, so to speak, of this open border is enormous. It is driving our nation into decline.
Yeah.
And the people who are most vulnerable are the working class, low and middle income, and they're the ones that are bearing the brunt of this. And the destruction of the middle class is essential for socialism to rise. So let's talk about the raid on Mar-a-Lago. Okay? You can't get a straight story from the lamestream media.
Yeah.
Trump having nuclear secrets, Trump having this, Trump having that. That is ridiculous.
I actually think that this happening, there were two reasons why they did this. One, of course, is to keep him from ever running for public office if they found something scandalous. The other thing is distraction. It's like that. It's that old story again. We always say the magician throws the fireworks to his right, but all the real magic is happening over on the left. And that's what's happening here. So nobody's talking about, like we got a cloud over the laptop of death or from hell, and all of that distract everybody from what's going on, and the fingers pointing at Biden, and see if we can get them over to the Trump. But they're preparing to make Trump a martyr, and that's going to be their fight, their downfall.
And as I've said frequently, fear of Trump is one of the major reasons to vote for him.
Yeah.
So, what happened in that raid? So, they grabbed all of Trump's documents and his passports and said he was uh, withholding top secret documents,
Yeah.
which is it totally made up. This is undisguised fascism, and the warrant they had gave them access to anything they wanted to take. What else did they take? They took articles of Melania's clothing. When they went through her closet,
Get out of town.
correct. What else? Documents that he had. He had newspaper clippings. He had all sorts of benign items that they seized because they could. What else did they seize that I found out this week?
Stack of magazines and TV guides.
No, Barron's sports equipment. They went through the kid's room and they took his sports equipment.
Like weightlifting stuff.
Now, he had those shin guards and stuff for certain sports. They took it. Now, how is that national security?
Are they looking for Melania's
No,
dress and this? Are they looking for DNA?
No.
No.
This is intimidation.
Yeah.
This is to put the fear of Biden into the Trumps. This is fascism. What else is going on? You have
His medical records.
Trump supporters or previous employees being hit with FBI raids and subpoenas, including the My Pillow Man at a Hardee's. I mean, come on. That's like being arrested at Wawa here in New Jersey.
Yeah.
They took his phone. He conducts his entire business by phone.
Yeah. So do I. My cell phone is my entire business.
This is fascism and suppression of the opposition. This is
Tracy said it there. Legal thieves. Yeah.
This is trying to tear the Bill of Rights in half. It is an abomination. It is treason. and traitors are executed. You don't want to hang the diaper, so give him a lethal injection.
Yeah.
But it is treason. These are high crimes and misdemeanors. And this whole thing is the diversion of trillions of dollars and man hours away from production in the United States and excellence to ideological witch hunts and woke ideas about racism. They have crippled our military by discharging our warriors who wouldn't take a useless medication. It is destruction of our education system.
Yeah.
It is an attempt to impair our ability to compete on a global scale.
No, it's that word that keeps cropping up, gaslighting. And see, and folks, all gaslighting is it's propaganda mixed with psychology, and you get gaslighting. And if you look up the definition for gaslighting, it'll read, for those who are warning you about gaslighting, they're the very ones that are gaslighting you and
Well,
creating a completely made up narrative.
well, isn't that what the devil does?
That's what the devil does. Yes, ma'am.
This is, let's break it down.
Yeah.
It is the fight between good and evil. It is the fight between God and the devil. And they're talking about Trump's documents. Just as a little aside, you know, Biden has the state of Delaware wrapped up. You know, they do all sorts of things. They've hired Hunter, they give them money, they do all this stuff. Well, the University of Delaware has taken 1,850 boxes of records from Biden's 36 years as a senator, and they have sealed them. So the Judicial Watch has filed a FOIA request for those documents. Now, I'm sure a lot of them are classified, and a senator does not have the authority to declassify documents. But the University of Delaware is refusing to disclose what's in those boxes or to allow the contents to be examined. Okay? So, Liz, China already has been importing steel to the United States. And that's why that bridge in Minnesota collapsed, because it was made with Chinese steel.
Everybody see those spotted lantern bugs? They're eating all of our vegetation and our trees. Guess where they came from? China.
So the FBI is the political strong arm of the Biden family, has refused to investigate the Hunter Biden laptop.
Yeah, because we got Mar-a-Lago, we got all this other shit going on to distract us from actually pushing this.
And I keep hearing every day on the news, oh, it's not the rank and file, they're good guys.
Right.
Well, man up, rank and file. You need, you know, they have, oh, a whistleblower here and a whistleblower there. It's not enough. Choose a side. Choose liberty, choose America, or choose the devil.
When the most badass broad in New Jersey tells you to man up, right? You better freaking listen. Yeah.
It's not easy. I know it. And I no longer forgive anybody who doesn't man the hell up.
Yeah.
Stand up, stand for truth, stand for justice, stand for integrity, because
grow a pair.
You bet.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. So if the rank and file really means it, then resign. Leave the FBI. Leave them with suits and offices that are betraying this country. Do the right thing. We're tired of being arrested, shackled, humiliated, made into paupers, and all that stuff. The only way to take back America is for people to stand up.
Yeah. We've already got civil unrest. And the next thing is civil war, and that's something they want to provoke us to make the first move about. That's what that whole red background speech was about. Putting we're a clear and present danger to democracy. These extremists over there. Then, of course, the next day he backpedals, and the day after that, the Democratic Party backpedals and say, no, 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 he's right. We're all extremists. We're our danger to their democracy.
And if anybody is watching the stock market, FedEx, which is in a really good position to judge global economy, fell by 25% yesterday because it's not just an American recession, it's a global recession. Europe's going to fail soon. And why is this happening? It is a result of Biden's war on fossil fuels. And he is the one who's causing this worldwide recession and collapse. And that'll give the fascists a chance to move in. This is a planned, that's right. This is a planned attack on the world to enslave the population of the world, decrease the population, and you will own nothing and be happy. And yeah, it's really hard to think of buying guns legally anymore or ammo because they're going to flag you.
Yeah.
So this is what President Diaper is being paid to do.
Big Brother is taking over.
So as Trump had said, America is a nation in decline. It was specific, it was intentional. Look at medicine. American medicine was once the greatest in the world. Rich people outside the country flew here, came here for the best medical care available. It no longer is. Medical research and breakthroughs are coming from other countries, even China, for God's sakes, even all other countries. It used to come from us, but
we were the golden standard. That's what we were, and we were proud of it. And then 2 short years, and it all changes. That's how fragile civilization is. When 2 short years can upset the entire country.
But really, they were setting it up sooner.
Oh,
yes, when you look at Soros and the border thing, and the fact that not one of our politicians, until we had the once and future president, not one of them dealt with the border issue because they were all getting paid.
Yeah.
And all these politicians who are on the take have to be tried for treason. And our border needs to be sealed. And let me tell you something, until we figure out who's in this country, all immigration has to be stopped, even legal immigration. And all these visa things, all these visas have expired and people stay here because they're not enforced. Once we get control back, and I am really praying for this upcoming election to be the beginning of the end of these traitors, we need to seal our border. Oh,
yeah, they need the shirt reveal. Yeah.
Okay, we need to seal our borders and get all these undocumented and illegals out of here. So the shirt of the day.
We got a strand of DNA in red, white, and blue. And then it says underneath, freedom is in my DNA. Yeah, brilliant.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot to do the reveal. Thank you for thank
Liz,
you for reminding me. Yes. So I read something really interesting this week. So medical schools, starting at the top, are no longer seeking the smartest people. They are seeking woke people. Now, doesn't that give you confidence when you're in the operating room?
Yeah.
Okay, so beginning with Harvard on down, they are requiring that applicants write an essay describing their experiences with racism, equity, or inclusion. And they are basing their admissions on those kind of issues. When I went to medical school, they only took the best of the best. And, your grades, all that kind of stuff was important. And your commitment to medicine and service was important. Not anymore. So American medicine has been in decline.
Yeah.
And that goes along with private practice being almost untenable anymore. And they have to eliminate doctors in private practice so that everyone is employed, all the doctors are employed, and they have to parrot whatever they're told by big pharma.
Yeah.
And so in order to have some sort of survival rate in medicine, you have to follow a checklist.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why people will not be given a choice of treatment.
Yeah.
They will be told what they're going to get, and they will not have any say in the decision of what is done to their bodies.
And you know what? You might not even get the same doctor twice. That's the bad thing. Like they want to make it so a doctor gets a phone call, they come in, they do an injection, and they leave, and that's it. That's about as much of connection that you get with your physician, and that's just wrong. That's wrong on every level.
So they are killing idealism, intellectualism. It is the killing fields all over again, where Cambodia killed anybody who had a brain.
Blue Lynette.
And the fact is that, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I felt that my patients had a right to know all their options.
Yeah.
When it came to care of their breasts, and they had choices that they could make. And I was told I was passé because women do not have the right to choose what's done to their breast. At the same time, they're pushing abortion as the right of a woman to choose. On the flip side, if you have cancer, you don't have the right to choose. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
So the fact is that I do believe that when it comes to breast cancer, a woman has a right to be involved in every step of the process.
Yeah.
And if you go to a breast center, for example, you don't have that right. It's taken away from you.
And don't stop asking questions, because you may be in a position where you're in the hospital and you don't know about, super specialists like Dr. Barber here. And you ask questions. What else? What other treatments are, why are you giving me this? Keep asking those questions. When you find out there's a fix or there's bullshit, right? Then you need to start looking for a doctor who has your best interests at heart. And that is Dr. Barbara Schneider. And it's always been Dr. Barbara Schneider. This is the woman that says she doesn't treat the breast, she treats the whole woman. And that is the kind of doctor you need.
And we, as a nation, all of medicine used to be like that.
Yeah.
And it's slowly, over the years, it was slowly taken away from us. It started with the dumbing down of medicine and the decrease in hours of postgraduate education.
Yeah.
And that was the decision of the Bell Commission, which reduced the work hour for postgraduate doctors to 80 hours a week, impacted surgery the most, because surgery was an intensive training program, so that even if you were tired and a problem came in, you would know right away what to do because you had done it so many times. But when the hours were reduced, so was the clinical competence. And a surgical residency is 5 years. And once they decreased the number of hours you can work, at 5 years, that first graduating class, none of them were prepared to go into practice, either private practice or employed practice. Some of them were taken on by large groups who were willing to mentor these people, but most of them were just lost
on their own. Yeah,
and that's
figuring it out.
how they developed fellowships in different aspects like breast surgery, so that the person then spent 2 additional years learning how to do 2 or 3 operations. This was included in my training, but not included in the 80-hour work week, 5 years. So that was the beginning of the destruction of American medicine.
Yeah.
The Bell Commission, the 80-hour work week. And now it used to be that, how does my husband put it? The best of the best went to medical school and the second best of the best went to law school.
Right.
Okay. So now the best of the best go into business and finance.
Right.
And we got, the young doctors who are just winging it. And you have an explosion of legal malpractice cases as well, because lawyers don't know the law.
Yeah.
And so this is a complete deterioration of the professional class in this country,
Right.
while they are bankrupting and destroying the middle class. And they're bringing in illegals to compete with the working poor who will not be able to get a job. And it is a deliberate destruction of America. And I have often said that America is the only thing that stands between world freedom and world enslavement. And we need to reverse the trend. We need to vote in November. Yeah, I know there are rhinos, but every Democrat has to be defeated, and every rhino has to be intimidated into doing the right thing. We need to eliminate those rhinos eventually. And just the fear that they have of Trump is the number one reason to reelect him. I thought his policies were terrific. I thought he was naive about the strength of the deep state.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't a politician, was he? I mean, he was a
he's
businessman. Yeah.
And that's why America was doing so well. And the people who benefited most were the poor and working middle class. They saw the greatest rise in income, and the big tech and the rich people saw the greatest challenge to their world domination.
Yeah.
And
but what you saying that though, then what they did was they created this civil unrest because that's where they live. They live in that. They want to create it, then they want to govern it and pretend they're dealing with it.
Well, because they live behind walls to keep them safe. But we were not allowed to have a wall to keep us safe.
But while Trump was running things, there was no need for Black Lives Matter. There was no need for a lot of these things. We all lived together nicely. But then when the Democrats got back in, they had to create all of this stuff. January 6th. Why do you think they keep talking about it? That was their big show. They put a lot of money into that. A lot of cameras were in place, and they keep talking about it even today. Even the election, because now we're all election deniers. I mean, how you've been in the office for 2 effing years? Like, get over it. But that you got nothing else to stand on. You have nothing else to throw at Trump. They found nothing at Mar-a-Lago, because if they did, they'd be slamming him with it right now.
The fact is that the BLM rioters who caused billions of dollars of damage,
Yes.
who attacked our police force, who did all those things. None of them have been brought to trial, convicted, put in jail. The January 6th people haven't even gotten their due process or their day in court. So,
and the crazy thing is, the very things that they are calling us extremists about, right, were things that they were talking about beforehand. Like Kamala Harris is on video talking about things that today she'll throw you in jail for because you're an extremist or you're a radical, and the same with Biden. My God, go back and do your research on these people and what they've said in the past. There's the hypocrisy is like neck deep, and we're drowning in it.
And every politician, including Biden and Harris and Mitch McConnell and Swalwell, or what, with Bang Bang Fang Fang, and all of them, Dianne Feinstein, they have to be brought to justice, because you cannot have an America with two sets of justice.
Yeah.
One for thee and one for me. All of them have to be taken down. We can do it. We, the people, can do it. So,
I think I want to request from us. I want to do a story about who you are again. So I think we've got so many new Barbara babes, and we talk about the politics and all of that. But I think if we retell the story about how Dr. Barb came to be the host of Radio Free America, and why that was so important, I think that needs to be retold to our babes, and enlightened to the new babes that have joined us, because she fought and fought and fought for women's rights, and you didn't even know about it. It was such a rubber stamped cloak and dagger thing with Men in Black and everything. It's a story that bears retelling.
Oh my God, you're going to make me blush. Well, we'll do the Cliff Notes version of it.
We will. We will,
okay.
because it's important, and what happened to you was wrong. What they've been trying to do, and the rights they've been trying to take away from women in their bodies, was wrong. And I was still new with Barb, and I was a man, and I'm like, I have no point of view with this stuff, and I had to open up, and I had to see what was going on, and what they were doing to these to you folks out there. But if she is a breast cancer surgeon and specialist, if you have any doubts about her, about what she can do for you, ask any of her survivors. They will talk your ear off at the lives they have now, and the experiences they have now with their families that they would not have had without this remarkable woman.
Well, thank you. But if you need me, I'm in Toms River, 732-244-2060. Thank you, Jeanette. Please share what I've said, because I hope to help with a resurgence of America with the upcoming election. We can take America back. We can make her great again, because the world depends on us.
Yeah.
Charity begins at home. Let's make us great again, and then the world will follow. So thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your kind comments, Jeremy.
Oh.
So this is Dr. Barbara Schneider on Radio Free America, signing off for Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, and all of America. God bless America.